Alright, everybody. Apparently, people are still on this. For those of you guys that don't know, Mr. Beast has this posse of friends. I'm not even going to bother to explain who Mr. Beast is. He is the biggest YouTuber there is. You know who he is. Mr. Beast has a posse of friends, and one of those friends, Chris Tyson, who actually, I should mention, me and Ethan tried Mr. Beast Burger. You have to get it delivered, and unfortunately the location where they deliver it from was a little bit far, so the food arrived, like, lukewarm and not, like, hot, which would have been ideal, but it was good. Like, Mr. Beast Burger was actually good. The fries were pretty damn tasty. I gobbled every single one of those down fast, and the burger itself, I got the beast style with no cheese. The burger itself was actually very good. Like, the beef itself, it tasted like it was good beef. Like, it had a very beefy flavor. They were fairly thin patties, but I got them double stacked. Or no, I got them triple stacked. And they had a very slight, like, medium rare inside of them still, and they had a very beefy flavor. Like, actually solid burgers, really solid fries. I got the Beast Burger with no cheese. And Ethan got the Chris Burger. Which is funny, because Chris Tyson, who that burger is named after, of course, is the subject of all of this drama. You see, they came out as trans recently, and Mr. Beast has, of course, been very open in his, defense and defending of his friend Chris, and he has even been, like, dunking on transphobes for, like, 2 months now, and being based as hell about it. You know, I stan Mr. Beast now, you know? I've always been, I guess you could say a fan of his content. You know, I always, like, enjoyed his videos, even back in 2018 when he was making a battle bus for Tfue. But I always thought his content was a little cringe, and I had, like a inkling of about him, but honestly, he's kind of proven that he's a good guy after this, because he very easily could have just, like, jumped on board with some bandwagon, but he didn't. He didn't pull a PewDiePie. He seems to actually genuinely support his trans friend. So yeah. Anyway, a lot of conservative figures are coming out and finding different angles to try to attack this from, because truly, all that's happened here is a massive public figure has come out as pro-trans, and another massive public figure has come out as trans. And these massive public figures are huge with Zoomers. And right now, the right is terrified of Zoomers being pro-trans and pro-LGBT. So they're trying to find any angle possible to morally justify attacking Chris Tyson and Mr. Beast. This is, of course, a losing battle. However, Melanie Mack Go Boom, a random conservative dime-a-dozen content creator, uploaded a video recently called "Was Mr. Beast's Friend, Chris, Paid to be Trans?" It hasn't really performed all that well, to be honest with you, but, here she is. She kind of looks like Ico Rules. Probably nowhere near as based, though. But yeah, here she is, and I guess she's going to try to argue that Mr. Beast's friend, Chris, was paid to be trans. This is going to be an interesting conspiracy. I haven't heard this one before, but, buckle up. I think it's gonna be a weird one. Hey, Ico Rules is in chat. Look at that. Let's go. You two do look alike, but you're definitely more based.
Living under a social media rock and you don't know who this
you definitely don't sound alike.
Chris guy is, or even Mr. Beast, quite frankly, you're kind of lucky to not be.
What accent am I being subjected to? I'm sorry, Aiko. What accent am I being Is this, like, Wisconsin? Or, like, hyper-Canadian?
Versed on all this stuff going on, but let me get you up to speed. So Mr. Beast, the most popular YouTuber currently to my knowledge, who rose to fame for doing some pretty intense challenge videos, as well as just having a heck ton of money that he gave away to a...
Yep, Wisconsin. She's from Wisconsin. She's from, like, she's from Wisconsin, or she's from, Michigan? She's from one of those, like, Minnesota. Yeah, Minnesota. She might be from Minnesota.
Bunch of people, some less fortunate, and some just for fun, just in the streaming world. His friend, who apparently has been in a lot of his videos, named Chris, has come out as transgender. And now this has been a huge problem for a lot of people because Mr. Beast has been known for being apolitical and a channel that is directed.
Okay, so we're starting off with the angle that Mr. Beast being accepting of a trans person is a political statement. So we're already starting off with, like, the 2016 era, Mr. Beast is being political. A lot of these conservative commentators will literally leave their arguments at, this person is being political, and that's it. Like, the idea that someone is being political is enough of an argument. Like, it's as much as they need to do. Like, because the idea, the general, like, perspective they try to push is the idea that the left is pushing their politics on you, and the right is trying to shield you from politics.
Toward a lot of children. So because of that, a lot has just surfaced on what's going on with this Chris character. It's just really shady, and there's just a lot to dive into. So let me cover this the best that I can, which at the time of me filming this, Chris has deactivated his Twitter, to my understanding, because of a lot of this backlash, and because, quite frankly, a lot of
I'm pretty sure Chris is back on Twitter.
Dirt has come up on this dude, and it's just not a good look.
This chick is known for eating a lot of butter because she thinks she a gangster, and also apparently she didn't water, which she went to the hospital for, and it happened twice. Okay. Alright. So, is this woman like a masochist? Where they're like into like hurting themselves in weird ways? Because that just sounds like a kink. Like, eating a bunch of butter and forcing yourself to dehydrate sounds like the only reason you would ever do something like that is because it makes you horny. Like, seriously, what logical benefit could that have? She eats it off the stick? Oh, she eats, like, deep-fried but okay, to be fair, deep-fried butter is a common delicacy of the American South, okay? You guys haven't lived till you've had a stick of deep-fried butter. I have had this before. I had to try it. It is exactly what you expect it to be. It is exactly how you expect it to be. Deep fried butter fair. You gotta get it from a fair. Yeah, Sarasota County Fair. It's in Florida too. That's what I'm talking about.
All right. Deep fried butter. I just ordered it.
August will love it. He loves butter.
That's a half stick of butter she just stuck in there.
Oh, a half stick.
Oh my God.
Clearly we're watching our weight now.
Deep fried butter.
This really is a common like thing in the South.
So she said the butter
I can
rolls
smell
itself
it.
until it's all melted.
Why can I smell it?
That's how you know it's done, is it stops rolling. So I think this one's about there. Oh, nope, there goes the roll.
Why can I smell it? Imagine biting into that thinking it's a corn
What
dog.
a work of art. Look at that.
And then they put powdered sugar
Butter
on
a
it.
stick.
It's deep fried butter on a stick with powdered sugar on it. Have you been to Polk County? Many times, unfortunately.
Only in America.
I lived in Polk County, I think. Lakeland's in Polk County, right? Yeah, unfortunately, I lived there once, I think.
Glorious. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Oh my God.
Oh my
That
God.
was so good.
I converted to my
That was so
I'm gonna
good.
try this. Yes.
Mmm.
It is pretty good.
It's like the best meal.
It's incredible.
I ate a whole one by
Why are you disrespecting my culture? You see, this is proof that white people are discriminated against because everyone in chat is totally fine disrespecting my culture. But if you guys were doing this about some other culture's food, then it would be deemed offensive. How dare you be this insensitive and intolerant to my culture? This is a staple food of my homeland. How dare you?
by myself.
Is that yummy? August, try this butter. Take a bite. Tastes like a pancake. God, he's such a turd. He's such a turd.
Thank you.
All right. Fried butter is a win. Look at this. Yeah, just dribbling out of there. All right, I'm 2 bites deep, and it tastes like I'm eating a stick of butter now. It's getting a little too much. The first bite.
Yeah, I ain't deep fried enough, I bet. Yeah, so, butter, huh? So she ate 2 of those?
You know, one of the biggest problems
Oh, there's a video. Aiko sent the video. It wasn't even deep fried, just...
with society today is that we're celebrating mental illness. Bipolar, borderline personality disorder, ADHD, feminism. People are celebrating this stuff when we should be treating it.
She's a troll. She's a troll and a grifter. She's another Brittany Venti. Okay, I see what's up. I already know this lady's, like, probably got the most insane thread on Kiwi Farms. Holy shit. Those are just 2 random videos I found right now. Oh, God.
It's not a good look for him, and it is especially not a good look for Mr. Beast, who is put in a difficult situation to where he feels like he needs to defend his friend, but also it's just not boding well for parents, especially of children who were watching his channel before. And I don't really blame them for it, but let's just start with this tweet right here, because I just think this gives us...
Dude, imagine thinking that you're winning if you take side with the parents that are, like, fucking prudishly trying to ban their kids watching Mr. Beast, the most popular YouTuber. Ah, yes, I'm sure that will work out very well for you. This lady is like dollar store shoe on head, like from 2016. Let's be nice. Let's be nice. We don't have to go there. I mean, you're not wrong, but you didn't have to say it.
A good picture of what exactly is going on for those who just haven't been up to speed. So this tweet says, I still can't get over the fact that God has given this man everything 90% of other men would wish for: money, a beautiful wife, and a healthy child. Yet he leaves it all of this behind and decides to delve into sexual degeneracy, the sexual degeneracy pipeline. God has forsaken this man. He shall regret it all one day. I mean...
I'm gonna take another hit of weed. I gotta be real high to engage with Christianity. If there's a God, then he will give me strength to defeat this apostate. That's a term, right? Is that the wrong term? What's the term for somebody who, this false prophet, who like appropriates God's name to push, like, their own private agenda falsely? Is it apostate, or is that something else? Blasphemer? Heretic? Heathen? A prostate works as well, yes. Okay, regardless, all of these phrases that are meant to refer to people who have dissed God, hopefully he gives me power, strength, and energy to demolish her in all of this, because let's be real, if there is a God, it probably doesn't care about, like, gay people or trans people, like, being trans. Jesus, like, assuming all that was real, Jesus' last words, like, one of his last words were literally, love thy neighbor! So, like, when will they start loving thy neighbor? Jesus specifically requested this.
I think that I speak for a ton of people in that, what could motivate this? How does one go from this, having a beautiful family, and just throwing it all away for this? It's exactly what the description
Profligate?
says.
Is that the term, profligate? That's what I was thinking of. I bet. I'm pretty sure that was it, Oxpecker. Thank you. Profligate.
This is degeneracy. And this is one reason why we have to stop promoting.
I'm sorry, but what I just watched you do in a video was degeneracy, ma'am.
This stuff to people, and I know a lot of people are scared to even say this, Well, I'm not, so I will be saying it. And I do think that while it is very sad that there are some people who struggle with their body and they feel like they've got to do things like this to feel more comfortable, it's safe to say it's not healthy. At best, it is a mental illness. And at worst, which we have seen time and time again, and I just saw a tweet thread on this, is that the transgender movement, a lot of it, most of it, at least half of those identifying as transgender are just, it's a fetish to them. They get off.
She cites a tweet. I saw a tweet thread that says that 50% of trans people, it's a fetish. All right, well, I'm just going to go ahead and follow up her. I guess I'll rebuke her Twitter thread she read with, like, studies. I used to have to read off, like, the research document, but now SDL has basically condensed the most perfect little, here's what I rebuke her tweet thread with.
The answer to my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who speak facts online all the time. The answer to my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A voice that compels all to rebel from all right shadow minds. It's you and me, your mom, it's me. I'm taking another hit from my name. You see now, watch me live now, punch your face now, let me show you how.
It's very good. It's very, very good. Just a condensed, like, brain blast of reality to throw at conservatives out of nowhere. Because they're very, very, like, dependent on the idea of, like, avoiding any interaction with, you know, any form of, like, exposure to reality. So you have to kind of trick them into being exposed to it. Is that Z's? Yes, it's Z's.
As guys who dress as women, so on and so forth. I saw another tweet thread about this yesterday, which made a lot of sense, to where it basically said, if you really want to unpack just what a lot of the transgender movement is and a lot of perversion involved in it, look at Reddit threads, look at, or it was Facebook groups. There's Facebook groups for male to female trans.
So I'm sure there are a lot of kink groups online, but if you're going to try to cite a psychological phenomenon in a demographic of people, I feel like citing a study or a paper or something like that that's actually been peer-reviewed by the scientific and psychological community would be, like, a good idea. Because as it stands, she's literally citing Reddit threads, Discord groups, and Twitter threads.
Transgender people, as well as Facebook groups of female to male transgender. And the difference was just jarring. The female to male transgender group had people giving advice, you know, talking about their body insecurities, so on and so forth. And the male to female transgender group was predominantly these men posting slutty pictures of themselves in dresses and wigs and just very pornographic type content.
Oh, okay. Hey, look at a cis person's social media, and then look at a cis guy's social media and a cis woman's social media and compare them. Typically, you're going to find that most women on social media are posting much racier, pornographic-ish pics than guys are. Because guess what? It has been socialized, particularly here in America, for a lot of women on social media to post thirst traps. Like, admittedly, there are a lot of women in our generation that get a lot of their validation from comments and likes on their selfies and their thirst traps, which I don't think is necessarily an immoral thing for them to do. I do think it could be unhealthy if it becomes, like, a thing you rely on for your self-esteem. But this isn't like a just trans women thing. Trans women are women, so they're acting like women and posting slutty pictures. Trans men are men, so they go into Discord or into Facebook groups where they give advice. Isn't, like, literally a meme that, like, dudes online make groups to give each other advice and hang out, while women online make groups to, like, make out and post nudes to send to each other? As a guy, that's what I believe women are doing constantly. They're just in group chats sending nudes to each other and making out and stuff.
That is spread throughout there. Now, most transgender people in general are male to female, okay? And obviously they're not actually female, but they pose themselves.
I don't even know if that's actually true. Wait. Is that actually true? I think that's actually patently false. It goes against what a lot of conservatives argue. So she's arguing that most trans people are MTF, so male to female, but isn't the argument right now that the transgender social mind virus, whatever they fucking call it, is mostly affecting young girls and turning them into trans men and non-binary? I thought that's supposed to be like the pervasive mass majority of trans people. They're like quote-unquote trans trenders, right? They can't even be consistent in their transphobic like propaganda and their conspiracy theories.
As male to female, and as you see on social media, even a lot of them get into like pornographic type stuff, because for the most part and for a huge chunk of it is it truly is just degeneracy.
A large reason why big reason why a large amount of trans women particularly end up getting into doing pornography is because there is a lot of discrimination, particularly in the workforce, when it comes to being trans. Hell, even if you just work as a job as a cashier, if you're trans, you're basically risking being like assaulted, whether it be verbally or physically, every single time a new customer comes in to greet you. There aren't a lot of jobs you can get as a trans person where A, you won't be discriminated against when getting the job, and B, you won't be discriminated against just doing the job. And so it's very likely, especially considering the circumstances a huge chunk of trans people are forced to go through, where many of them are disowned by their parents and forced into homelessness at a young age, many trans people, particularly trans women, end up having to get into doing pornography to make a living, some of them before they're even 18. There are a lot of young trans women who have been sex trafficked because they were kicked out of the house by their religious transphobic parents, started having to do sex work to make a living so they could survive, and then got pimped out and sold into sex trafficking, basically. It's very common. The disowned LGBT child to sex traffic victim pipeline is very strong. This is not an argument against sex work or sex workers principally. Obviously, I'm not a swerf. You guys know this. However, unfortunately, most people who are doing sex work are not doing it because they enjoy it. They're doing it because they have to. But believe me, I know quite a few people who do it for both those reasons. Or like mostly because they have to, but they enjoy it a little, right? But an ideal society would be one in which if somebody wanted to do sex work, it would be because they choose to, and they don't have any perverse profit incentives like to do so, right? Unfortunately, just like any job, that is the case for sex work now. But I see it no differently than, say, doing YouTube, right? You are providing an entertainment value, a service to an audience in exchange for, wealth. The difference is that when it comes to sex work, due to, in large part, its criminalization, it is really hard not to go through abuse of some kind when you're doing that profession. That is the problem with sex work. The abuse that comes from it being buried underneath in the shadow because it's illegal in a lot of ways, or at least discriminated against and frowned upon by many people. Were it allowed to be more accepted and normalized, as we've seen it with OnlyFans, you'd see a lot less sex trafficking and a lot less sex crime. Remember, the people on the right do not care about that. They do not want to minimize the amount of women getting sex trafficked. They just care about pushing an agenda.
See, it's sexual degeneracy. It's kink. It's disgusting. The fact that they are involved.
It's kink. Oh, there we go.
Children in this especially. So I think for a lot of people, we felt sorry for them, and we just thought, we took the whole thing a lot more. We had compassion on people because, like, most people want to have compassion for others, and I think a lot more has been exposed as in this movement and what it truly is. I mean, there's a reason why the Bible is against it.
Oh my god. I like, can you imagine a Mr. Beast fan clicking on this video and seeing this Bible-thumping weirdo who's eaten like a stick of butter in her car and got hospitalized for it, quoting the Bible about how Mr. Beast is bad? This is literally like the Christian channels saying, like, making the animations about how Mr. Beast is evil and he's the Antichrist. She spilled butter on her Bible.
All right. So now let's just get into more of some of the controversy surrounding Chris in particular, right? So here he has a tweet. So Allie here, she tweeted this. She said, in a tweet that he just deleted, Chris from Mr. Beast, who recently announced he's transitioning to be a woman, says he likes this. All right. I'm not going to read this out loud, all this kind of stuff. And if you don't know what this is, essentially what that is it's drawings of anime.
So for those of you guys that don't know, and if you've been watching my content for a while, then this should very well be like a knowledge that you have. I have a history of dunking on lolly and lolicons quite a bit. It has resulted in me getting a lot of hate, death threats, and mass reporting, falsely, by a lot of lolicons in response. They do this simply for no other reason than I say that they are what they are. Pedophiles. I don't even say that lolly drawings or lolly stuff should be banned, because I'm honestly even open to arguments that it can be used in a therapeutic setting to keep pedophiles from hurting real kids. My issue is these people who consume it, and very blatantly consume it because they see it as an analog for children that's easier and I guess more legal to get their hands on. I simply point out that is pedophilia. Jacking it to pictures of children, just because they're not real, doesn't change the fact that it's pedophilia. The fact that no actual child is getting abused doesn't change the fact that it's pedophilia. Pedophilia is attraction to children. If you jack off to gay anime porn, that's gay. Assuming you're a guy, right? If you jack off and you're a girl to lesbian anime porn, that is gay. If you jack off to anime children, that is pedophilic. I've gotten a lot of shit for this, okay? I want to preface all of this because I've very many times stated this opinion aggressively and I've gotten shit for it, okay? I do not think that Chris is actually a lolicon. I dug into this when I found out about this because I was like, wait, no shot. Is Chris like a fucking lolicon? No way, no way. And so I looked into it, and I will admit, the stuff in Chris Tyson's past is a little sussy, but I don't think it's strong enough evidence to suggest that he's a lolicon. I think this is clearly conservatives trying to use the fact that the internet's culture now is different from how it was back then to push a certain narrative. So, it's any all pronouns, but I default to they. Sometimes I use he. Anyway, so to explain the backstory to this is Chris Tyson replying to a tweet post they made of a picture of a drawing that they bought back in 2016. And if you know anything about 2016, I guess I'll have to give a little context about this in a minute, but think back to what 2016 on the internet was like. Chris Tyson bought a drawing by an infamous artist called Shadman. For those that don't know, Shadman is a Nazi pedophile domestic abuser. Literally has served jail time for domestic abuse, okay? Now, many reasonable, decent people online have been pointing out the fact that Shadman is a fucking pedophile for a very long time. The problem is, despite the fact that he was very evidently drawing porn of minor-coded characters for a long time and was, infamous for it, but, in a, he's just edgy and subversive kind of way, he was somehow accepted? I cannot express how fucking weird it was. I cannot fucking express how weird it was. How many big, particularly art YouTubers, collabed with this guy, despite the fact that it was known that he was drawing basically lolly porn. On top of that, the vast majority of the people collabing with him were conservatives, because they considered him a brave, anti-establishment, pro-free speech, provocateur. The funny thing is, right now, the right is using, the argument that people are pedophiles as, their prime stance against, trans people. Back in 2016, The right was defending pedophiles. Think back to Amos Yee, for example. Amos Yee was just straight up stating out the fact that he is a pedophile and he loves, like, raping kids, and he fantasizes about raping kids, and he loves child porn. And people like Sargon and, like, the entire right-wing, like, blood sports sphere were all defending him because they saw him as this brave provocateur. It was this really fucked up, bizarre time online where you could do the most disgusting, horrible shit and play it off as a joke. And people who did that, like Shadman, attracted an audience and created a culture of people doing the same thing as a joke. From what I can tell, Chris Tyson bought that, like, Shadman lolly photo, which was definitely NSFW, but it wasn't, like, straight-up porn, from my understanding. The image I saw was censored, but I could see, like, hints of clothing, like, outside the censored areas, so it's like, okay. It's not something that, like... it's definitely sussy, but, like, it's not as bad as I think with it censored you might otherwise assume it may be. That said, pretty fucked up, right? Especially when he replies with this, "Nothing gets my knob cranking like that." Pretty fucking sus. Though, if you also look back to 2016, Chris Tyson was making attack helicopter jokes and making weird racial jokes and stuff like that. From my understanding, especially considering the context of the time, this was literally Chris Tyson just trying to be as edgy as possible in a time where unironically liking Shadman, or ironically liking Shadman, I should say, was seen as like this edgy, cool thing to do. And for those of you guys that weren't around during this time or weren't really familiar with that side of the internet during this time, then this may be a surprise to you and you may not believe it, but I assure you, it's pretty fucking vile how popular and normalized that guy and his art were. What really caused Shadman's downfall and the mass realization that he is a pedophile was when I believe it was either when he did art of Keemstar's fucking daughter. And listen, I hate Keemstar, but no to that, okay? Just nope. Or, and I may be mixing up the order here, or it was when he did art of the child from Logan. You know, the Wolverine movie? It's really good. X-23. She's like 12 or something in that movie. Yeah, he did pornographic art of both those people. Oh, yeah, apparently he did pornographic art of Lieutenant Corbus, who was like 12 at the time, too. Like, he did in like a sort of, in a shotgun blast, he did pornographic art of several underage people. And then all of a sudden, everyone was like, holy shit, this guy's a pedophile. And to this day, you still get people using those same defenses for the guy, but especially after he got arrested for domestic violence, there's, like, nobody likes Shadman. But it's funny to see that conservatives who at that same time were also, like, in that crowd defending him for the same reason that Chris Tyson was making those jokes back then, and I'm pretty sure they're jokes. Like, guys, I am very, very harsh when it comes to the lolicon thing. You guys, if you've seen my content, you know. I looked into it. You can look into it yourselves if you like, but if you trust me, then you can take my word for it. I assure you, it doesn't seem like Chris Tyson was being sincere about the lolly stuff. Even harsher than Shu? I'd honestly say I am harsher than Shu when it comes to pedos. Like, literally, when I called out that 600K sub, Lolicon YouTuber, the VTuber guy, I posted all of the info and all the stuff about that in Shuanhead's GC. She saw it and, like, responded to me and never even, like, made a tweet in support of, like, this massive right-wing Nazi pedo brigade that was going after me. And the reason why, as it would turn out, is that YouTuber follows Shuanhead. She doesn't follow that YouTuber, but when you look through that YouTuber's followers list, shit ton of them follow Shuanhead. It's true. I won't say that's exactly why she didn't call it out, but it feels like that might have been. There's a lot of pedos on the right, and Shuanhead markets herself to that audience, so I imagine I imagine there's a fair amount of like, maybe I don't want to, you know, I hate pedos, but I don't want to piss off the wrong pedos, right? That's probably her mindset.
girls that look like children, but there's often some sort of lore or backstory that says, oh, well, she's 1,000 years old, but she's has this magical stuff going on, and so
I mean, she's correct about her arguments against lolly shit here. I mean, I don't disagree with her here.
she forever looks like a child, and not even, I mean, it's just a very, 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 very young child too, which just makes this all the worse. Now, I didn't know this before. I used to think what this meant was just petite women, and that's what a lot of people try to act like. Oh, it's just petite women. Not all women are super womanly and curvy.
Wait, holy shit. Okay, this part of the video I agree with. Like, chunk out this segment where it's just her talking about, like arguing against lolicon, and I agree with it. Okay, there's apparently this thing called Lolita fashion where it's like of-age women dress in like the kind of clothing that like a little girl in the 1920s would have worn. And I don't think that's pedophilic, but it's you know, I guess a little weird. It's usually kind of kinky by the looks of it. Like it's supposed to be sort of a kink thing. And yeah, it's like goth. No. People in chat have tried to say, oh, but what about Lolita fashion? So I Googled it, and it's not necessarily kink, but it's very obviously a style that is meant to evoke a style that mostly young girls wore a long time ago, like Victorian era type shit. It's meant to be kawaii, but, you know, I don't think it's like... Okay, listen, I'm just going to be very prejudiced here and say it tends to be pretty weird women that do this, okay? That's all I'm going to say, okay? It tends to be weird women that do it.
I'm not. But this is a difference. This isn't just petite women. This is characters drawn to look like sometimes toddlers and, you know, just say they're older than what they look because... that's their way of just getting away with it. All right. So anyway, this describes it as well. So he said here, nothing gets my knob a cranking like some. Okay. That is very, very disturbing. And here you'll see too, he made this video and someone tweeted this and it said, Chris, don't you identify as an attack helicopter and have always dreamed of dropping hot, sticky. This is hard for me to read because it's just gross. On foreigners over the oil fields, and I'm having plastic surgery.
I love how these are the people who complain about cancel culture. And they're bringing up 7-year-old jokes. Oh no, sorry, not 7, 8-year-old jokes at this point. They're literally bringing up 8-year-old jokes as a way of trying to cancel someone for being trans. And they're the ones who basically built their current culture, era of culture domination on the idea the left was doing cancel culture too much. I'm telling you guys, these people are overextending themselves. They're doing the cancel culture and they're building their reputation for it. Attacking one of the most popular people of all time? Whew. Not a good idea. If that's how you're trying to win the culture war, especially if you're trying to win it among Zoomers, it's not going to work.
Surgery to attach a rotor and a 30mm cannon, this, that, and the other. Okay.
Attack helicopter.
So this isn't one thing that does make me feel like a lot of what's going on with social media in general and people getting a lot of attention on this. I think a lot of people are doing this for attention as well. And the fact that how do you go from making this to identifying as
helicopter. Ever since I was a boy, I dreamed of
as
soaring
transgender,
over
you know,
dropping hot sticky loads.
Yeah, we already saw this clip. We already saw this clip in the Sunny V2 video. Where's she say that he was paid? Okay, now she's reading 4chan posts. We've gotten to the point where she is now citing 4chan posts.
Streamer. And Mr. Beast belong to the same talent agency, and that they are both directly connected to Disney and Amazon. Interesting. Today I learned that the company named Night Media literally manages basically every single Zoomer celebrity, including Hassan Piker, Nico Lull, Dream, and these guys. If you ever...
Bro, you're never gonna see me get like a fucking talent agency manager or like a fucking affiliate. This is extremely common for YouTubers to do. Like every high up big YouTuber for the most part has like a talent agency or like a company that they associate with that like What's the term for it? Machinima was one of these. What are they called? This is literally just a 4chan post conspiracy theory she's citing here. What are they? What was the type of organization Machinima was called? Content network. Yeah, a network. A lot of, like, literally the vast majority of big YouTubers join networks. If you're smart, though, you won't. And a lot of YouTubers who join networks usually join them when they were smaller, and when they get larger, they try to get out of them. Yeah, MCNs. Yeah, like, this is not unusual. They're basically trying to claim that, like, Disney is like paying these creators to be LGBT because Disney is woke. We are literally on that level of conspiracy.
A look at the YouTube trending tab, and at least one of Knight's talents will be up there. Knight Media is just a subsidiary as Knight Incorporated. Itself is valued in the hundreds of millions of dollars from venture capitalists and angel investors. Who owns Knight? The CEO of Knight Media is Reed Dutcher, who formerly
I did not get high enough for this insane conspiracy shit.
worked for the NFL, and then went on to be Dude Perfect's manager, which Dude Perfect is another really big YouTuber. The president of Knight...
She's basically acting like she's uncovered a massive conspiracy that all of the massive YouTubers that are big and popular tend to be managed by a few big companies. Wow. Who could have guessed that? Have you ever watched YouTube? Like, do you watch YouTube at all?
Incorporated is Ezra Cooperstein, who was previously the president of Fullscreen and Rooster Teeth. Fullscreen, I used to be signed by Fullscreen back when YouTubers had MCNs, multi-channel networks. If you've been on YouTube for a long time.
Wait, even she was part of it. Oh my god. Even she was part of it, and she has to add that caveat in her fucking conspiracy. Yeah, MCNs and other agencies like this are extremely unanimous among YouTubers. This is not anything special or, like, damning. Like, it's so normal that I don't even know how to express to you how much of a nothing burger this is. Like, it's almost like saying, did you know this doctor went to this medical school and this other doctor went to the same medical school? Like, that's pretty much the equivalent of what she's claiming here.
Time you'll know. I ended up parting ways with Fullscreen in like 2016 or 17, I believe. Unrelated reasons. I personally wasn't privy to any corruption going on at the time in that general sense, but yeah. As well as Maker Studios, which Maker Studios was huge back in the day, which is now part of the Disney Digital Network. Now, while I was with Fullscreen, I did film a pilot with Disney Channel, Disney XD. It was for a gaming show that I was going to host, and it ended up not.
She's a failed actor. It's always these fucking failed actors, dude. It's always these people who have some other failed career that was their ideal, and they realized the only thing they could do to scrape by a living is to sell their soul and just peddle evil in a charismatic quote-unquote package to an audience of numbskulls.
Getting picked up, but I did host 3 episodes at E3 of a little mini gaming series that they did specifically for that time at E3. So there's definitely some sort of connection there between Fullscreen and Disney, at least to that capacity that they had worked together, because I know Fullscreen had other talent that they had to audition for these roles. Now, this happened for me back in 2016 or 17.
Yeah, that's why I put charismatic in quotes, Acroma.
Right before I left Fullscreen. Okay, so ironically, neither of these guys are the real talent managers, as that position is for their 90-plus employees, including Andrew Pelosi, a former higher-up at Influential. What is Influential, you ask? Influential is an AI, social data, and conversion technology, as well as...
Yeah, no, I'm out. Okay, this is literally fucking brain-numbing. This video is 10 days old and has only 56,000 views, which is a lot of views. Like, if I had that many views, it would be impressive. But my channel has 85,000 subs. Her channel has 139,000 subs. And despite being a clickbait video about Mr. Beast's friend, it got 56,000 views. My guess is because the view retention is extremely low, because this lady has no charisma, is terrible at delivery, and has, like, made the most uncompelling arguments. She dropped a Bible quote in the first minute of the video. That's gonna lower viewer retention like crazy, and when viewer retention is low, the video doesn't get seen by a lot of people. That was embarrassing.